Hola chicos. Today we are in our first module of the week, but just finishing up the last two concepts in capítulo 5. So today is our parte 3 de capítulo 5. And we're talking about direct object nouns and pronouns. That's what we're talking about today. So, you might be asking yourself, I don't remember what direct object pronouns and nouns are even in English, and that's okay. We're going to talk about it right now. So, some notes and some things to remember. Direct objects, all right, answer the question, what or whom, right, in relation to the verb. Ooh. So these are the most important things that we want to remember. It answers that question, to what or to whom. So an example of this might be, ¿Qué dobla Pedro? Meaning, what does Pedro fold? What is he folding? He's folding las toallas, meaning the towels. So that this whole las toallas, or las more importantly, is answering our question as to what ¿qué is he folding? In this case, Pedro is folding las toallas. So, keep that in mind. The next important thing to remember is that direct objects, like we see above, may be nouns or pronouns. And when direct object nouns refer to a specific person, a human being, a group of people, more human beings, or a pet, an animal, this is important. Then the word a precedes, we'll just say goes before, the direct object. So, fun fact, this is called the personal a. Personal because it refers to a person, a group of people, or an animal, which is sometimes, in some cases, kind of like a person, right? We love our dog just like we love another human being. Almost. So that's why we call it the personal a, right? So, that's when, for instance, remember that the personal a followed by el becomes what we call in English a contraction, right? So that means it becomes al. So remember when we talked about that a couple times in the beginning of the semester? Well, here we're talking about it a little bit more explicitly or in depth. So, for example, if we have Amanda seca los platos, meaning what? That means Amanda dries the dishes. It's my garbage truck, sorry. Amanda dries the dishes. So in this case, no personal a, right? Because she's not drying a person, a group of people, or a pet. She's drying an object, a plate, and that's not an a, so we don't need the personal a because plates aren't people. But, for instance, if we had Amanda seca, Amanda seca al perro, Amanda dries the dog, Notice here that we have our contraction, our Spanish contraction, because Amanda is now drying what? She's drying a dog. Well, that is personal because that's a pet, technically. That's an animal, right? And since it's el perro, it becomes, meaning, we don't say a el perro, we say al perro, right? So that's an example of this personal A followed by el, where we make it a contraction to al, right? Alright. Maybe we look at another example. Let's say, we're asking a question. ¿Ves la piscina? Meaning, do you see the pool? It's the swimming pool. We have no personal A because we're looking at what? We're looking at a pool, and a pool is not a personal object. A pool is not a person or an animal, so we don't have the personal A. But if we said, or if we're asking, for instance, ¿Ves al niño en la piscina? Now we're saying, do you see the child in the pool? Now what we're looking at, remember we're answering our question, what or whom, in this case whom, we're looking at the child, or we're asking if we can see the child. So that's why we have this personal A again, because it is un niño, a person, una persona, no? So we have that personal al, remember, because el niño is, oh my goodness, these people are crazy. Because el niño is masculine, so we have to change it to al niño. If we had a feminine example, if we said, ¿Ves a la mujer en la piscina? Do you see the woman in the pool? Oops. Almond. Notice that since la mujer is feminine, we can't contract these. We can't say a la. We can't put them together, right? Only the A with the L. So in this case, it just stays with the A, right? We don't contract anything. But we still need that personal A because we are looking at a woman who is a person, right? Alright. Just a side note, I guess I'll add it down here. Well, no. I'll go back. The personal A is not used with the verb tener. That's just a side note. So, for instance, if we say María tiene un hijo, tiene. Notice that we don't have the A here. Tiene, we don't say María tiene a un hijo, because with tener, we don't use the personal A, even if it is talking about a person. No matter what with tener, we just don't use it. So just remember that side note. Moving along here. So, if we have the question word, I want to be in bold again. Or meaning, since the question word, when we say quién or quiénes, meaning who or whom, refers to people always, because quién, quiénes is always talking about who. We always use the personal A. For instance, let's say if we're asking, who are you going to help? We would say, ¿a quién, to who, technically, vas a ayudar? Meaning, whom are you going to help, right? And in this case, we have that personal A, because when we're talking about quién, who we're going to help, this is referring to quién is always talking about a person or a group of people, in this case a person, right? And if I want to answer this question, I might say, voy a ayudar a Pedro. I am going to help Pedro. And in this case, obviously, we have the personal A, personal A right here again, because to whom are we helping? Remember, we're answering that question. To whom are we helping? We are helping Pedro. So we have to have the A, the personal A. Okay. Now, to talk about one of the most important parts of this, that direct object pronouns replace direct object nouns. I'm going to put that in caps. And are used to avoid repeating the noun while speaking or writing. So it's just to avoid repetition, right? The important part is that these pronouns refer to, again, people, animals, or things already mentioned. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit more depth in a minute. So, remembering and thinking about this. This is the important part now. So, what we need to remember is, I'm going to put a table in here because, as always, these always help us out. I actually need multiple things. Okay, I think that should be the right. Let me merge these together. And I'm going to call this table direct object pronouns, because that's what it is. So, in this case, we have me, te, lo, or la, and then we have nos. We don't talk about os. And then we have los or las. Looks pretty easy, right? And obviously this meaning, me, te meaning you, lo meaning what? Him or it, and masculine obviously. This, then, self-explanatory, would be her or it, but a feminine, her or it. Nos, obviously us. Los, same idea, them, masculine. And this one would be them, but what? Well, feminine. Okay, so this is important, right? So these are the words that we use to replace our direct object nouns so we don't keep repeating ourselves, okay? So let's look at some examples, and this is going to make a lot more sense. So we know, what the heck? We place the direct object pronoun before the conjugated verb, okay? So, for instance, ew, I don't want that. That's ugly. If we say, Maria barre la cocina, meaning, what does that mean? Does Maria sweep the kitchen? So, look at this. In this case, la cocina is referring to what? This is a direct object noun. Right? Because we're talking about la cocina. And that is a cocina, a noun, remember, is a person, place, or thing. So cocina is a place, right? So this is our direct object noun. Now, if I kept talking, wouldn't it sound a little bit repetitive if I kept saying, does Maria sweep the kitchen? Yes, Maria sweeps the kitchen. Maria likes to sweep the kitchen. Maria sweeps the kitchen every week. Maria did not sweep the kitchen today. if I keep saying the kitchen, the kitchen, the kitchen, the kitchen, that is annoying. And it's way too repetitive, and we try to avoid repetition as much as possible when we speak and we use language because that's just quite frankly how people are, and it sounds a lot better. So, how do we avoid saying this 5 million times? La cocina, la cocina, la cocina, la cocina. Well, we do this. We replace our direct object noun with our direct object pronoun. So, how would I answer this? I would say, no la barre. No, meaning no, she does not sweep it. So, this la is what our direct object pronoun is, right? So we just replaced la cocina with la, right? We replace la cocina with la. And where do we get that la from? We got it from here, right? Because we're talking la cocina, we have to think about what we can replace it with. Can we replace the kitchen with me? No. With you? No. With it? Yes. With us? No. Is the kitchen them? No. So it's definitely it. And so all we have to do is decide, is it masculine or feminine? And we just have to remember, la cocina is feminine, so we just replace it with this la. So no la barre. No, she doesn't sweep it. And keep in mind that the la, the direct object pronoun, comes before the conjugative verb. So the la comes before barre, sweep, to sweep. Let's look at another example. Let's say I'm asking, ¿cuidas a tu hermanito? Meaning, do you take care of your little brother? So, keep in mind here, side note, this is our personal A, right? Because we're talking about taking care of a person, right? So the personal A is definitely there. So, in this case, what is our direct object noun? Well, in this case, it's tu hermanito, right? That's the direct object noun. Because that's the to what or to whom. This is the, in this case, to whom are we taking care of? In this one, it was to what are we sweeping, right? What are we sweeping? Well, we're sweeping the kitchen, and this is who are we taking care of? We're taking care of our little brother, so that's our direct object noun, and we always replace our direct object noun with a direct object pronoun, being me, te, lo, la, nos, los, las. Which one in this case is it? So if we're saying your brother, is that me, you, him, her, us, or them? Well, this is another case where we have one of the lo or the la because we're talking about him. Always think about what you can replace it with. Are you taking care, or do you take care of him? That's what we can replace that with. So, in that case, it's going to be lo, right? Because it's a him. If it was a sister, it would be la. But in this case, we're talking about your brother. So I would say, sí, lo cuido. Right? Where in this case we have our lo because we're taking care of him. Meaning, yes, I take care of him. Right? So, if you pay attention, we have just, well, what did we just do? We replace tu hermanito with lo, right? Sí, lo cuido. And that's it. So, a last side note of these How do I bold this? There we go. The last thing we want to think about is with compound, verb forms, meaning a conjugated verb plus an unconjugated verb, or present participle. That's what we talked about a couple days ago. A direct object pronoun may be placed before the conjugated verb or attached to the end of the unconjugated verb or present participle. What do I mean by that? I am about to show you an example. So let's say that I'm saying, or asking, ¿Vas a ver a Rafael? Meaning what, in English? Are you going to see Rafael? Right? So, in this case, our compound verb form is right here. Vas a ver, are you going to see? Meaning we have more than one verb because we have ir and we have ver. So, vas a ver a Rafael. In this case, what is our direct object pronoun? Or I mean our direct object noun. Let me fix this. This was our direct object pronoun up here, right? Our lo. So in this case, what's our direct object noun? What or whom? What or whom are we talking about? Are you going to see whom? Well, we're talking about Rafael. So he is the direct object noun, right? I'm going to put him in pink. So, now we have to replace our direct object noun with our direct object pronoun. In this case, we go back up to our chart and we think about it. Can we replace that with him again, just like our little brother? Yes. So we're going to replace it with lo. So we have two options here. We could respond with this by saying, sí, lo voy a ver mañana. Meaning, yes, I'm going to see him tomorrow. Where in this case we see that we replaced Rafael correctly with lo, and we put it before the conjugated verb, right? We put the lo before the voy a ver, before the whole compound verb thing. But just like we said, we could also put it attached to the end of the unconjugated verb or present participle, meaning we put it on the end. So we could also say, sí, voy a verlo mañana. Meaning the same thing. Yes, I'm going to see him tomorrow. So, what do? We just literally attached it to the end of the compound verb, right? Right here, attach it to the end of the unconjugated verb or the present participle, meaning just on the end of everything instead of right before, we put it right smack dab onto the end of it. Right? So you always have two options in that case when you have a compound verb, when you have multiple verbs. And the same thing, in this case we're talking about an unconjugated verb. So let's talk about what would it look like, just a second example, if we had a present participle, the ing verbs. Let's say, for instance, that I want to say or ask, ¿Están limpiando la casa? Meaning, are they cleaning the house? So, in this case, what is our compound verb? It's right here. It's the están limpiando. That's our present participle, right? The limpiando part is it's our ing. Are they cleaning, right? Because we have verb here, estar, verb here, limpiar. So that's why it's compound. And to what or who are they cleaning? Well, in this case, la casa is our what? Our direct object noun, right? Right here. That's what we're looking at. So, same idea. We could either put it before or after. What are we going to replace la casa with? Well, are they cleaning it? This is going to be an it one, and it's la casa, so we're going to use la as a replacement for our direct object pronoun. So we could say two things. We could say, yes, sí, la están limpiando. Again, that's saying that, yes, they are cleaning it, meaning, in this case, that we put it, the la, before, right? Before the compound verb, before están limpiando. But we could also attach it to the end. We could say, sí, están limpiándola. Meaning, yes, they are cleaning it once again. In this case, we have to put an accent on the A. That's just a little side note. I'm going to put here that when we add on the other la, we're adding another syllable technically. So all this means is that the accent mark always goes on the third to last vowel. So if we have one, the first one is A, the second one is the O, and then the third to last is this A. So we always put the accent mark, always goes on the third to last vowel. That's the important thing. And this is only with, only when we attach to the end of the present participle. That's the only case when we're going to see that happen, or we're going to have to worry about the accent mark. So that's all we have. You can go ahead and work on the Nearpod. I'm going to upload this to Canvas, so you can look at the notes later. But I hope this helped kind of explain direct object nouns and pronouns.